Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gloria and I wanted to make this video. I titled it, of course, you see the title, If I'm Not Reading, I'm Not Living, just to kind of show the importance of books in my life. So with this video, I wanted to showcase, 5 books that I really think made who I am and shaped my mind into the person that I am. A lot of books have shaped who I am, but I just wanted to really focus on these 5 as a starting point. So the first book is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. So this is an old book. I'm sure like a lot of you have heard about it. It's an old book. It's very short and small. Actually, this version has another book in the back. It's called The Mastery of Destiny. Really, I want to focus on the As a Man Thinketh part of the book. So the way I stumbled upon this book was, so my mom, this is during the pandemic, and my mom has a lot of books. She had so many books and they were just laying out on the floor in her office. And I was going through a period of time where I just wanted to read more intellectually stimulating books, and I saw this in her pile and I grabbed it, I started reading it, and it really opened my eyes to the power of the mind and how, it's really the law of attraction, manifestation, how our mind can really shape what our external circumstances are. Like, imagine everything that is on this earth started in someone's brain and manifested itself into this world. So this book really honed in on that idea for me. So I would definitely, this is like the basic mind manifestation book to me. It hits on how our mind can affect our bodies, like our health, how our minds can affect our profession, like everything we have in our world starts with what we think. So this has really shaped my mind about the thoughts that I think and how they can manifest themselves into this world. And these are in no particular order. These are not in order of when I read them, but these are really some books that I felt were really impactful in my life. So the second book is Left to Tell by Immaculée Ilibagiza. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but this book is so impactful, is like the word I can think of, but it doesn't even begin to describe this book. So this book is about a woman who in her early 20s, or when she was turning 20, she was in university and she suffered through the Rwandan genocide. So she was old enough to really remember what happened, but it's really about how she, not only she persevered through such a trying time in her life, but the way she persevered was through her faith in God. And she, during this genocide, she was part of the Tutsi tribe in Rwanda, and they were the minority that were being slaughtered during this time. So the start of the genocide really started when she was in university. So of course, when you're in university, you are, you have your own thoughts, you have your own opinion. So the fact that she was that age when it started let us really know what the genocide was about from a young person's perspective who was really going through this. So one of the key points in the book was when she was she was hidden by a Hutu, who was the majority group that were initiating this genocide. So one kind Hutu pastor hid her and other Hutu women in his house during this genocide. And she just talks about her story of being cramped in that place in that cramped bathroom. That bathroom was so small. So she just talked about her experience, how she just held on to her faith in such a trying time. I read this when I was going through really trying times at work. Work was just so, how can I put this? It was so much pressure at work. And I picked this book. I had already bought it previously, but I never read it or finished it. So it was just sitting in my library. So when I was going through time at work where it was just so much pressure, so many deadlines that I had to hit, just so much pressure at work, I picked up this book and it really inspired me to really grab onto my faith. Like this woman, Immaculée, who was going through the most awful time imaginable. I mean, a genocide of her people, and she lost almost all of her family members. And she was able to hold on to her faith during that time. And it really inspired me to say, listen, if Immaculée can hold on to her faith during this terrible, terrible time, I can persevere. I can work in a way that doesn't destroy me, my sense of selfhood, and all that to say that she's just very, very inspiring. The way that she just held on to her faith. And, you know, even after the genocide, when she was applying for citizenship to the United States, because she came to the United States after genocide, and just her journey of just like going through things, but then keeping her faith in God just inspired me so much. So I would, if you are looking for a really inspirational story, a story about a woman who, despite all odds, held on to her faith in God, this is such a good book. And it just makes me think, it will make you understand the power of just holding on to your faith. So really, really love it. So the next book is Eating in the Light of the Moon: How Women Can Transform Their Relationships with Food Through Myths, Metaphors, and Storytelling. So I picked up this book during the pandemic. I had suffered for a long time with overeating. So I'm getting a little bit personal here, but I suffered for a long time with overeating, and I didn't find that like how-to books on how to stop overeating, or books that address the issue from a scientific perspective, or books that just tell us to eat these things like diet culture, restricting our food. I didn't find that really helped me. But this book addresses overeating and eating problems in general through the lens of stories, myths, and metaphors. So instead of going through the avenue of saying you should not eat, you should not overeat, you should eat these things, you want to be nutritious, and this is what you should eat, the author, who's a doctor, Anita Johnston, she goes through short stories to illustrate what our vices can really reveal about ourselves. So one thing that I really took away from this was that whatever it is, whether it's food, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, that thing that you have chosen to be your addiction, it's not about that thing. It's not about the alcohol. It's not about the food. It's not about the drugs. Those are red herrings. And the real issue that you have to address is, what are you trying to suppress, or what are you trying to control with this thing? So for me, it was food. So through the lens of storytelling, she gives tools to how to address or find or discover the thing that is really making you, or the thing that you were trying to suppress through overeating. So if you struggle with, you know, this is about overeating specifically, but if you struggle with any vice that you feel like you can't get a hold on, I would really suggest this book. It's an old book. You can tell it's old because it has references to the 90s in here, but the tools in here really hold true. So this has really helped me change my mind around advice that I was suffering from, which was overeating. Next book I will talk about is kind of like a workbook, and this book was also something that I stumbled upon during a really trying time in my life. So a lot of these, you know, a lot of books that have had profound impacts on me are ones that I picked up when I just felt like I had nowhere else to go. You know, my community around me didn't provide the answers that I needed. So these are the books that really stood out to me. So the next book is called Ignite Your Light. A sunrise to moonlight guide to feeling joyful, resilient, and lit from within. So this is by Jolene Hart. It's really kind of a workbook. It's about how to get out of a funk, like how to reshape your life into a life that brings you constant joy. It's very colorful. It has nice illustrations. You can see my highlights in there. But this book really, it's a really good manual. That's the word that comes up to mind. It's a really good manual on the practical things you can do to bring joy into your life. So she talks about movement. Of course, we all know the importance of exercise, but the way she talks about exercise and the benefits of it, not just to like make you look good, but to make you feel good about your body and what your body can do for you. She talks about nutrition, of course, and along the same lines of you're not doing this to look a certain way, not for external validation, but for confirmation in yourself that you can create a life that brings about joy, that brings about prosperity in your life, but through practical ways. So I stumbled upon this book when I was going through a really, really bad breakup. It was the word. It's just really bad breakup, and I just felt like I had nowhere to turn to. I was walking in Marshall's one day, just walking through the books aisle in Marshall's, and just feeling really defeated and just didn't know where to turn. So I just saw this book. It was on sale, and I was like, Ignite Your Light, a sunrise guide to feeling joyful, resilient. Like, I need that. I need to feel resilient. So this really helped me just change my life into one that can constantly bring joy and excitement. And I'm not perfect. I can't say that I follow this to the T every single day, but it's good to have as a good reference point to remind myself of knowing that this life is amazing and I can make it amazing. My life is amazing. I can make it amazing. So I really, 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 really love this book. The final book is called Flow, The Psychology of Optimal Experience. And it is by, man, I do not know how to say his name. It's Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. I don't know how to say his name, but this is a brilliant, brilliant book. So this book is about flow, and flow specifically in the context of this book is how people are able to enjoy their lives, have constant flow. If you guys have ever heard about the term flow, like when people are working on something and they just forget about time, they're like in a flow state. So he, I believe, is a psychologist, and he researched the idea of flow. So he interviewed a bunch of people to ask them, when in your life do you feel like satisfied, fulfilled? And he realized with the hundreds of people that he interviewed, he realized that there was a certain formula for achieving flow in your life. And when you have constant flow in your life, then your life is enjoyable, you feel fulfilled, you don't feel like you missed out on anything. So he interviewed all these people, and he discovered that flow is something that's easy to attain and that it can be broken down into a formula. So if you want to attain flow in your life, there are certain things that you must do. The main thing is you have to be constantly trying to attain a goal. Whether that's running a marathon or achieving something like going to law school, being executive, whatever it is in life, you always have to be trying to attain a goal. And once you attain that goal, you have to be trying to attain another goal. So it's a constant, I want to say like a search for a goal, but it's not just like you have to be going. But as humans, the way our mind is set up, we always have to be challenged in some way. Our brains need constant challenge, and challenges come through goals. And when you're achieving these goals, you need feedback for those goals. Feedback in the sense of whether you are closer to achieving your goal or further away from achieving your goal. So he starts with this concept of flow, like what it is and how it's broken down. Hi, Editing Glow here. So after I started talking about this book, my camera malfunctioned. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish off what I was saying. So basically, after the author introduces the topic and the concept of flow, he goes into describing how we can obtain that flow in different parts of our lives. So he talks about how flow is achieved through exercise, how it's achieved through work, more importantly work, how even if you think that your job is the most mundane, you can find ways to intentionally think about it in a flow, from a flow perspective. So I really enjoyed this book. It really changed my perspective on finding meaning and fulfillment in life. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what books have impacted your life. Okay, see you next time. Bye.